For latest updates and short audio clips, follow us on Instagram, Reading the Author.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Reading the Author, a unique show where we read authors' mind and not their book. Meanwhile, I truly believe and pray that you and your families are completely safe and healthy as well. Today we have Niveda Srinivasan ma'am with us, the author of Missing Until I Find You One Day. Thank you so much ma'am for coming on our show. We are highly grateful कि आप हमारे शो पर आए.
It's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Likewise, ma'am. So, ma'am, before we get into the podcast and know much more about your books, about your vision and everything, I would request you to please introduce yourself so that our listeners can know much more about you.
Yeah, sure. My name is Dr. Niveda Srinivasan. I'm 24 years old and I just completed my MBBS last year and now I'm preparing for my post-graduation. And last year, July 1st, I released my debut novel, Missing Until I Find You One Day.
So, can you share with us, ma'am, how did you started writing, from where that first thought stuck in your mind, कि okay, नहीं अब एक book लिखी देनी है मुझे?
It's actually very interesting and funny how I started writing the book because I think I was in 10th grade and I fought with my mom, something very trivial. Ma-beti fights we had. So I wanted to release that frustration and I just opened my laptop and I started writing. So actually, if you do read the book, you will see that the first chapter, the first page, starts off with a fight with the mother and daughter. So it starts, that's how it started. And I wrote 1.5 pages and I left it. I forgot that I had written something like that. I wrote until a point where she's inside a forest and she turns, and that's it. I had written only that much, and it was in my hard disk. I had taken my hard disk to India, and then my friend found it one day when I was in my 3rd year of MBBS, and he said, "What is this? Why don't you continue this? I'm curious to know what she saw." So as everybody knows, MBBS has its own stress, so this became a stress buster for me to write. And since it's it's for young adults and it's a thriller mystery, which I always enjoyed that genre, the story automatically went into that path. And as I typed, I used to send it to my sister and a friend who were 13 years old that time. So they used to read it, and as I put chapters out, they would read it and then they would give their opinions. So based on how they felt, the book took its own course, and it was very enjoyable because initially I was just writing it for my sister and her friend. Yeah, I didn't expect I would be publishing it only.
Definitely. In fact, when I was in my 9th standard, there was I guess a short story writing competition. It was there, and I have written a couple of stories in that, and I won the prizes. Then some of my friends and my geography teacher basically motivated me, okay, no, you have to write something like that. And at that time,
Nice.
I belonged to a city in Uttar Pradesh, Ghazipur. So at that time, the era of writing a book was not here yet. It is also as of now also it is not there. We don't have any publication house or something like that in our city. So I just I just wrote a couple of stories, 4 to 5 stories, and I printed it out and printed some back covers as well, and just stapled them and distributed to my friends. So
that's nice.
yeah, and after that then I realized, okay, this is exactly not how books are made basically. So I learned from them, and then when I was in my 11th, I started writing once again a short novella, and it's out there. But basically the thing was that we have a publication house in our city. It was, I am not exactly recalling the name, but there was no ISBN provided to my book because the charges for taking the ISBN was quite high. And at my home I discussed, then my father basically said, okay, if you want to publish a book, then we can just publish. And the publisher just basically fooled us, and he just took around 10 to 15,000 rupees, provided me with around 100 to 200 copies without any ISBN. So I thought I have to just send it one by one to people, and that's how the books are being sold. And as of now, when I look back, I see okay, people who don't have much idea, much exposure to these things are quite ज़्यादा chances होते हैं
they take an advantage.
People take advantage of them. So as of now, what I do for my cities kids or some people, I just conduct an annual exam, a writer's hunt competition. I just collaborate with people, and basically schools I collaborate with. Many of them just ignore okay, no, we don't want writing competition or something like that. But those who collaborate, we just announce the winners and something. And if anyone who participated ever want to write a book or need any help from us, then we are always there for them. So
that's very nice. I guess one bad experience will lead to many good experiences for others.
Definitely.
So,
we have launched our magazine as well last month, the Book Sub. And we are into podcast. Earlier we used to provide the reviews, and also one of my friends said that you haven't written a single book, you have done everything related to book. So ma'am, like as of now we know that the book is released, and it's performing really well, like 5 out of 5 stars on Amazon I just saw. But there must be lots of people who will be willing to explore the book after listening to this podcast. So from a new reader's perspective, what they can expect from this book? Can you share some insights?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I have so if you have seen my Insta page, I do put a little promotion for my book, and one of the 2 things I highlight is for people who do not read books. This can be a very good first book to read. Like if you want to start reading books but you have never got the right book, this will be a good book, because one advantage is it's pretty small. It's 128 pages. So when you pick up the book, you won't feel like, oh, it's so big, I don't think I can finish. This book it doesn't even look like that. It's small. And another thing is it's mystery. So what you watch in movie, I have just given it in words. So as you read, you are building the world in your head. So when it comes to mystery and thriller, I assure you this book will be really enjoyable for readers. And since the protagonists are around the age of 15 years, my target audience was 15 to 20 years, the young adults age group. But there is, I can tell you, there is one character every age group can relate with. So you have the family dramas there, so mother, father, younger sister, then there's a little bit of younger brother sentiment involved, so sibling love, and you have friendship, and then even there's one where they meet an old lady, like one little grandmother vibes is there. So it's like all age groups can really enjoy the book. And since it's a mystery thriller, I'm not able to tell the story much, because almost I've ended most of my chapters with a twist, which that's what happens. So from the feedback I heard, people said they were not able to stop the book. Once they started, it's difficult to keep it down, because I end most of my chapters in twists. So they'll want to read more to know what happened. It's like how you binge watch series, but I've just done it in a book.
Okay. So ma'am, can you share with us, like you could have written something else, you could have chosen some other topic as well, but what was your inspiration behind writing this particular novel?
Inspiration, I must say, it's I love reading books, and I think my first book was Heidi and Black Beauty. It was around 4th grade. And then I took a break, I can't say, but I didn't read for a while. And when I picked up in 8th grade, it was Sherlock Holmes, Nancy Drew. So you know how big the genre shift was. So Black Beauty is a very straightforward, with a girl liking a horse, and they both, she makes a friend out of an animal, like a very normal story. But then the next sort of books I picked up was full mystery thriller, and I realized I was really drawn to it. I couldn't keep it down. So I wanted to write a book where people would get lost in it. Like already the world, there are so many bad things going on right now, so people would want something to escape from. That's where Netflix is making very good money out of, because people enjoy watching and forgetting their problems. So I said, why not in a book? Why can't people pick up a book and get lost? There's so many books actually which do that to you. So I wanted mine to be one of those books where people can forget where they are and just get lost in the book. And that I feel this mystery thriller crime, Wo Sab will do a very good job. of making you forget. And it's very fictional, so it's not something that many people will try to relate to. So it's something that might happen but also not happen, so people like that unrealistic approach of books also. That's what I felt. So I thought, why not this?
Okay. So ma'am, like in 3-4 months it will be the first anniversary of your book, right?
Yes, correct.
So like, you know, people who have already read your book, what they can expect more from you? Like, you want to experiment a bit on other genres, or you want to stick to this, or basically like what's in the pipeline as of now?
Right now I'm fixed with fiction, but I'm planning to branch out in different, right now I'm working on a fantasy fiction novels, and then other series which is again a fictional one. Not mystery thriller types. It's a little different. It's more like a fantasy adventure. But I feel that I'm more inclined to that teenage age group and that sort of fictional genre. I have not thought of writing anything non-fictional as of now. So it'll be more of fictional. I'm also thinking of writing something which adults would like someone over 20s. So a little bit realistic fiction type of a story, which that age group also can enjoy. But yes, they can definitely expect many different things from me, because I'm not the sort of person to fix to one sort of genre or one type of story. So I would branch out into many other things.
Definitely. In fact, what is my personal opinion on this topic is like, you know, there are many authors who try to stick to a particular genre, but you know, maybe that will be working for them. But what I personally feel, that if you stick to a certain image or something like that, then let's say from a couple of years from now, if you don't want to be, you know, portray yourself like that, you have to forcefully do that, because your image is such kind, and that will be a lot much risky to do that things.
Risky, and the pressure comes on the author to, you know, I have to stick to this because I always done this. So that sort of pressure comes. But when I have not chosen anything like that, I feel I can do anything I want. You know, it's like a big canvas for me.
True. And in fact, whatever comes after that will be completely authenticate. Like, people can completely relate to things if you write from your heart. But if you just write, okay, this will appeal to audience or something like that, then there are some points when readers feel, you know, unattached to the topic or the plot.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So my next question to you of this podcast is like, you know, most of the authors are working to create a sort of impact on their readers' mind. Like, they want to be known or remembered, you know, as a certain genre writer or a certain kind of writer. Okay, it's a book by, let's say if it's a book by Niveda ma'am, then it must be of this kind. Like, I will be feeling these things, I will be getting these sort of vibes from the book basically. So is there any personal branding or something like that you have ever thought about, or something like that, when it comes to personal branding?
Not yet, but personal branding, I think I still have a lot of time to make a brand out of myself. But what I aim is for the reader to just enjoy what they're reading, and I want to be the one to give them that enjoyment or that happiness, because everything I prepared, I have prepared to write or anything is something that I feel attached to. So I don't write anything that I don't like, or at least I won't publish it out. So if I like it, I try to make sure others like it. And also, like, there are small things that I put, like even with Missing, I have the overall picture may be mystery thriller, but I have small things. So the relationship between the protagonist and her father, and even the second protagonist is a boy. He's a 15-year-old boy, and you know how there are male stereotypes, you should not cry, you should not be scared. But then it's a very small innuendo, but if people actually picked it up, it would be great. So he'll say, I'm scared, and she will say, it's fine to be scared, it doesn't matter if you're a boy, you know, just leave those stereotypes, it's okay to be scared, she'll say. So you know, even if the overall picture is some thriller, Missing and all, I do leave small things which I hope people pick up on, and actually it may make some difference in somebody's life. You know, like, I also want to push the fact that boys should talk what they feel, cry if they want. So that all comes in this Missing. So if some boy feels, you know what, if he can do it, why can't I? Why can't I talk what I feel? Why can't I cry? So I want that, which I hope to bring in other books. So the overall picture may be something else, but I hope that there'll be small things that people can pick up on and change. So I feel like maybe it will be, I want to give something that people can enjoy and read, but at the same time, they've also learned something. You know, that's what everyone's trying to do, right? Attract young people by giving something they can enjoy and learn from at the same time. So maybe I can also join that group of people.
Oh, ma'am, in fact, that's so beautiful, because I guess it's high time we should just let go these kind of things in our society, especially when it comes to talk about boys or men's, whatever. I feel that in fact there are some jokes as well. Okay, when you wish men on International Men's Day or something like that, the first question they ask, is it something like that? Is it something happening, or is it true that we also get to be celebrated? And I guess it's high time we have to just stop focusing or emphasizing the thing that we are completely ignoring basically these kinds of things.
Men and women should be equally celebrated.
True.
That's what I feel.
So true.
No one should be over anybody. Equal celebration.
Definitely. So, ma'am, when it comes to releasing a book, like being an author, what sort of competition do you feel in this industry? Like, because what I feel that after the first lockdown, the numbers of authors are getting increased day by day. Like, we have lots of people, literary agents, publication houses opening, who are just emphasizing, focusing, and pushing the authors to the market. Like, if we can see that hundreds of books are being published on Amazon every week, we can see. So from an author's perspective, what sort of competition do you feel? Like a sort of neck-to-neck competition, or you're someone who feels it's a creativity, and in creativity there's no competition?
Actually, one big thing that has pushed so many books is the point of self-publishing. That's how my book also has come out. I came through a self-publisher. So I was encouraged by my father. Otherwise, actually, this book would have never come out in the first place. So I knew if the book is going to come out, it's going to be open to criticism. It's going to be it'll even get to my head that I have to come best-selling author, but Amazon it has to be number one. Even if I didn't want it, I was pretty sure it's going to happen. So I was actually not very happy. Not happy, I can't say, but I was a little scared that it's going to come out. But then like a lot of my friends said that it was a very bold decision of me to publish it in the first place. So I thought that itself is good enough for me. And your question, the second part you told, no creativity, does it no competition, no, they don't need competition. I'm that type of a person, because any type of competition for me has not brought out the best in me. For some people, competition will bring best out of them, right? But I feel it's not for everyone. So for me, competition has always brought the it made me a little less confident. It made me feel a little lesser than others. So and that too, writing is something that I did it because I enjoy it. I love it. That's why I was doing it in the first place. Like being a doctor is like my professional side, but this is my passion, and I really love what I did. And I didn't want to bring that competition in and ruin that whole experience for me. So I thought, instead of just seeing it as a competition, I decided to look at all authors as colleagues. They all work with me, sort of thing. So I'm more than happy to promote a new author, because I know how hard it is for promoting myself, my book and everything. So if an author has put all their heart and soul in a book, but it's not able to reach, I'll be so happy to be one of those persons to push it out. So instead of a competition with other authors, it's wonderful also that so many authors are actually coming out. Because imagine, because I see myself as a reader and a writer, I feel like, oh my God, there's so much to read. I think I don't have enough life to read all these books. That's how I feel when new authors come. So it's nice that so many authors have come. This lockdown has made something good for us, that so much creativity it has improved, not anything else.
Ma'am, I have been in conversation with around, you can say, 100 plus authors, because we have released, I guess, 101 episodes till now. And there are lots of authors I came to know that they all are just running a sort of race, that they want to be bestseller. They are spending a lot of money, like they are just blindly spending money just to buy reviews, buy that bestseller tag or something. Everything is there. But what I feel that if you're not doing it is as your primary job, then definitely you are someone who has a hobby of writing, and you are doing it for the sake of your happiness. But when you just go with that competition, that flow which most of the authors are doing, somewhere you lack that happiness, somewhere you lack that sense of enjoyment, that okay, you are just again you are just doing something which you are doing primarily. You're in your job, you just focus on being the best, something like that. And when you just go for the creativity thing, then also you are doing something, then you have no time for enjoyment, then you don't realize what you are writing. You just आप कह सकते हैं जल्दी लिख के बस उसको फिर से बेस्टसेलर बनानी है. So you are in a complete rat race, what I feel, and that's really great कि आप ऐसा नहीं सोचते हैं. That's good.
Thank you.
So ma'am, like as of now we have talked about your journey, about your book, about your vision, about your future plannings and everything. Now coming to your personal life, like I know there must be many moments which you just tag as happiest moment, but if you can share any single one of them with us, then that would be really great.
Single one, I think any moment that I have made my parents very happy, I think would be the happiest. Any medal that I bought, or any certificate that I bought saying I came first or second. But my parents are very weird. They'll be happy and proud of me if I just exist. But I don't know, I have that need to prove to them you be proud of me, see I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So any moment where my family has been happy or proud of me has always been the happiest.
That's sweet.
I am so sorry I'm not able to pinpoint one thing, because
no issues. I mean, indeed it is the best moment. Indeed,
happiness is like spread over like sprinkles all over your life, so I'm not able to pick one.
By seeing a smile on our parents, on our family members, that itself a happiest moment.
Yes, true.
Okay. So ma'am, like let's go to the time when you heard okay, tomorrow your book will be released. So at that evening, what was going on your mind? Like, were you feeling stressed, relaxed, excited, or you have just marked up some milestones? Okay, these many people know me, my book has to be sold out this much. What was going on your mind at that time?
Oh, that day I can never forget. Actually, July 1st is Doctor's Day. So my project manager, she was like, I have pushed it. It will be released tomorrow because it's an important day. Because since I was a doctor, she wanted it to be released on Doctor's Day. And I'm like a very I'm a perfectionist when it comes to stuff. So like the subheading was not like how I imagined, and I had found 2 errors in the manuscript while it was being released, and I was so stressed would be the right word. All these small things sort of became like a big thing. And actually I had some back issues, so I was actually doing physiotherapy that time. And I was like on the phone with her, like, listen, you have to move it to the right, you have to change this, change that. And I was so, because she told me like 2 days before, we're releasing it like day after. So I was so excited. Obviously, I was very excited first. But then when she sent the final manuscript, final cover page, I was a little tensed. But then she was like, listen, the cover page looks nice, don't worry. And, she reassured me. She's like, okay, it will be fine. And finally, towards the end of the day, like the night before the release, I was, and that excitement finally came. Wow, I'm going to publish a book. Actually, I hadn't told anyone it was going to happen, because I was like, let it confirm, let it come out, let it be available, then we'll tell people. And even the day it was released, obviously it wasn't available because it's a print on demand, so it was coming like 7 or 8 days. So my friends put in their orders, and even before they had read the book, they all started promoting the book. I was like, please stop, just read the book and promote. But it was very nice, the response I got from all of them. I'm not sure if all of them have still read it, but I know that the love they showed when I had put it out, it was very nice.
Definitely. So as of now, if you can see, ma'am, like what's your current mental state as an author, as a person, as a doctor? What are the things which you are focusing upon?
As an author, actually, you made a point about how authors spend money for reviews and all. I was actually doing that up till 2 months ago, because what I noticed was it was the people in my circle. Whenever I used to put kuch Insta mein story or something about the book, I realized it's the same people I am promoting it to. And if they're not going to buy it the first time I promote it, why will they buy it the 8th time I promote it? It's like I'm annoying to buy, annoying them. Then I thought maybe I should appeal to people who actually read. So I made my public account, which initially I thought it will promote. But then I made it, and I ended up making it a book blogging thing, since I've read too many books over these years, and I thought I'll just give my opinions. It's not a review. I don't think any of the things I post on my page are reviews. It's something that I liked about the book. So opinions like that I put up, and that's when I started getting a lot of reviews. I actually had no idea reviews were paid. I was so surprised, like people are paying, I have to pay you. It was very new. The whole thing was new. I was like, but my book, why am I paying you? And then I understood it's a service they're doing for me to promote my book. So they're doing this as a job. So I should pay. So that whole concept was new. And I realized that my point was to do all these promotions is to reach the audience. That's the problem when you come with self-publishing, that the part of promotion is what you have to do on your own. So it's very, very hard actually to reach it to the right audience. So I have to tell people who read, or people who don't read, I have to appeal to them in that particular way. Like, why should you read it? And people who read it, I was like, listen, please read, this book is there. So the whole point of my promotion and doing reviews became a point where I have to tell people the book is there, it's available, please, read it, give it a read. So as an author, I'm still in that phase, trying to find ways to tell people all over the world that I have written a book and I feel it's a good book and you should read the book. So it's my brain is, as an author, it's fully going into like promoting and how to market this book, how to tell people, my dream for this book is somewhere some girl should have taken this book and read it and she should be happy. Yeah, what a story, she's my favorite author. Somewhere someone should think like that, I feel. That one person across the world. So that is my goal right now. At the same time, I'm also working on another book. The thing is, I don't have any deadlines and I don't keep any particular time. So I write when I feel like. So yeah, I'm writing that and I'm participating in some anthologies also. Because it's very nice to, they give you a theme or there is no theme. So I just write what I want, but it's a short story. So all that. So as an author, I feel a lot of opportunities have come my way and I'm trying to make use of them and also trying to promote my work. So it's harder than I thought. It's really not easy to appeal to people all around the world. But even if I'm having the means of social media, it's still hard. So that as a person, I'm just trying to be chill and not get stressed and buried under promoting my book and being a doctor. So I'm trying to keep my chill. And as a doctor right now, full I'm trying to get my PGC in my NEET exam, which is coming up. And if I don't, then I'll start working in some hospital is what I thought. So doctor side of my brain is again gone back to my old MBBS studying. It's a lot of things in my head, but it's enjoyable. I would rather have it filled than empty.
Basically, when it comes to marketing and promoting a book, it's completely a different zone what generally authors feel before publishing. Definitely. We came across lots of authors who are, they just got irritated of the thing that, okay, now I have to promote my book myself. People won't be able to read it. And it is something that, because of the quantity of authors are getting increased, basically, the whole Amazon is so flooded that there was a survey, one author was sharing it with me that more than 80 lakhs of books are Amazon, which are not being sold even a single copy of their paperback. More than 80 lakhs of books are there. And in fact, I came across a lots of books who are not ranked. So I just asked some of my teammates, okay, why the ranking is not showing. So they said, okay, if the copy is sold, even a single copy, then only ranks are made. If they are not being sold any single copy, then the ranks are not being उनकी ranks होती ही नहीं है. So I was just completely shocked. Okay, these many books are not being sold even a single copy. So that's why most of the authors just got really irritated when the book promoters or publishers, marketers, distributors ask for the promotion and all. So that's also quite
very sad when none of your books sell, right? As an author, I'm thinking, how would it be for me if I'm in their place? Some of them might even have given up writing, so nothing sold, why should I write more? We don't know how many people have left their passion because of this. It's sad. But true, competition and number of people increasing become like that.
In fact, many authors just share with me, okay, my book is good enough to just tackle the market, or just then I just make them sure कि okay, let's say आपकी बुक अगर अच्छा परफॉर्म करेगी कब, जब सामने वाला भी फेयर प्ले करेगा, राइट? द अदर वन इज प्रमोटिंग द बुक so rigorously that definitely your book won't be there standing anywhere. So that happens if, let's say, there are a couple of authors and both of them are not promoting their book, then there are chances that if the script is good, the book will hike up. But if the one is promoting so rigorously, reaching around let's say 1,000 people a day or a week, then there are very less chances that if you're not promoting, and then also you think that your books will spike up. So the game is not fair play, and that's why I just try to make the author understand that. But let's hope that people just the publishers just make sure that before taking the manuscript, they just make the authors aware of these things as well, so that they can be mentally prepared. Because after publishing, when they came to know all these things, they were like, okay, I'm stuck.
Yeah, I understand that. It's very hard. So, I just to be prepared for this.
Definitely. So my last question to this podcast is like, what are your advices for the upcoming authors? Like, after listening to this podcast, maybe many of them will start writing, or they will be just holding their first draft in their laptop, in their diaries. So what will be your advice for them?
My advice would be, if you want to publish, do publish it. Don't publish it because you have written it. Like, sometimes you just write for yourself, and if that makes you happy enough, then leave it be and you keep writing. But if you want to publish, you want the world to know it, then go ahead. Of course, as you do your research, you'll find all these big publishers. You have the top 3, top 5 in India, all over the world, and you can send in your whole manuscript to them. Like, one publisher, I actually did send, one big publisher, they told to send the manuscript, the whole manuscript, and if you don't get a reply in 6 months, that means they have rejected it. So imagine as an author how you'll feel, right? You're just waiting. This is it's a very big publisher. I don't want to name, but I'm pretty sure if you go in their site itself, it's given as a clause kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't get it, if you don't get a reply, reject it. So initially I did send, even because my father became really invested in this book. He read it. He was very happy. He's like, people should know about this. So he took the initiative. He mailed a few publishing houses. I mailed a few publishing houses. We didn't get any reply, honestly. And I knew it was not because my manuscript was bad. It was because I was new to the whole industry. It's very hard. And obviously, if it's a big publishing house, I'll be one of 10,000 manuscript. Mine would have been insect. So I said, okay, why wait? And actually, you would have heard of the author Savi Sharma, right? So I had read what she had done. So she did self-publishing, and 2 years later, after it became good, luckily Westland Publishers picked it up and they published, and they took up the whole marketing promotion and stuff. So, even those things, breakthroughs can happen. I'm not saying it will happen to me. I'll be happy if it happens. But yes, there is an option where there is self-publishing. So that's what I did. So to the new authors, if you're going to self-publishing, I did through a very nice one. It was Notion Press. They're based off of Chennai. It was 3 guys who started the company. So they have free publishing actually. Literally, but you have to do everything. In the sense, you should have gotten it edited and everything. Your cover page should be ready. They'll just publish it through them. So they have options like that, and they have packages, like a certain amount of packages where you choose one, and they have the things they'll do. So for editing this much, cover page this much, so it will cover. So if I wanted promotion and marketing, it would have been a higher package, but I took the second one, I guess. So I was lucky enough that my dad was able to contribute. If you all of the new authors right now are lucky enough to have parents, or if you are working and you yourself are able to finance something like that, then please do, because these publishing companies, what I worked with was good. I had a very good guide. My manager, she helped me through. She would call and talk everything through. The editing team was good, the cover page was good. So that option is there. So till the book is published and printed, it is their responsibility. But the true not problem, but yeah, everything has a problem. So the true troubles you will face will come after when you publish the book. That is the marketing, as we spoke about before. So that I wish that all the new authors are fully aware. If you are doing a publishing through a big company, then no problem. But if you are going through a self-publishing company, then the promotion and marketing falls on your shoulder. You have to go and promote your book, be it Insta, YouTube, all that. The social media has become a very big. You'll be surprised to know, Gaurav sir, that I had met with a person who said she was in advertisements. So I wanted to ask her, like, could you help me like advertise my book? And she's like, social media only. Nowadays, even advertisement is, being, the advertisement department is being shaken up because of the social amount of advertisements that's been doing through social media. So you don't need any company to advertise you, because people are advertising themselves on social media. So I was very surprised to hear that someone from the company itself is telling me do it through social media, because that's what I had been doing. So social media plays a very big part in promoting your book. So use it to your best. Talk about your book, and do choose very don't pay for all the people who request you for reviews. You have a budget that you want to spend on reviews, a budget you want to spend, keep it. And discuss, if you do make new author friends, ask them how much they paid for reviews, how much would be the ideal price. And one more thing I learned is, if you feel the price is high for you when it comes to review or promotions, there's nothing wrong in telling them, listen, I can't afford it. So either they will drop the idea, or they will bring it down to whatever you are asking for. So please, new authors, don't think you are under somebody just because you are paying someone. You are there, you are an author, you have published, so have that part in your heart. And everything else, so that because I felt like many new authors will just pay blindly, because as you said, they'll just keep paying, thinking we can't say no, this is how I can promote my book. So I hope that idea leaves their head. If you believe in your book that it's good, then you can ask, you can tell people like your reviewers or promoters, I can't afford it, is it something that you can adjust with or something like that. And if they're able to bring it down, good, done. If they're not, then you have other opportunities. So that's what I just want to tell them, ki mentally you be prepared. It's not like in movies you write a book and in a song it will become a big hit. That's not how it works. So don't be fooled by that. So once you make your stand, your life might become like a movie. But until then, you have to keep working. Maybe release another book, in another year or something. Make a more stronger stand. But one thing you've published, always remember you're a published author. So you can be proud of that you have put it out there in the world. So, that itself is a big step, and you should appreciate yourself for that. That's what I would like to say.
Definitely. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope you must have enjoyed this lovely conversation. And if you do, then do follow our podcast, Reading the Author, available on all the leading podcast platforms. And don't forget to buy and read the book. You can just go on Amazon and search Missing Until I Find You One Day, or you can search Nivedha Srinivasan. You will get the book. Just buy it, read it, and share with your friends and family as well. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming on our show. It was my honor to host you today.
Thank you so much. It was really good. I enjoyed the podcast.
Yes, ma'am.